Loved by you when I'm not worthy to call.
Psalm 51 is a true classic. We can all relate to David to some degree as he pours out his heart in repentance. And one more phrase caught my attention as I read this psalm recently. It comes from the second half of verse 12. David said, "Restore me to the joy of your salvation," as we saw yesterday. Then he says, "And grant me a willing spirit to sustain me." A willing spirit to sustain me. David wants to change. He doesn't want to just say sorry and then rush back and do the same things that he was doing before so he can come back and repeat the whole process. How many of us do that, I wonder? But David asks for God to help so that he can be sustained in the joy of salvation. And the secret, he believes, is a willing spirit. Did you see that there in the text? He doesn't want to be drawn to evil anymore. He wants his spirit to be willing to follow God. And this is an interesting topic in our day. A common philosophy in our culture is the one that says, be your own person. Don't let anybody tell you what you should or shouldn't be. Whatever you feel you'd like to be that. Embrace that. And the deep end of that way of thinking is people start to claim to be things they aren't, based on a fleeting feeling or a temptation. And they base their whole identity on a desire that is actually distorted and broken by the sinfulness of the world. Instead of a spirit willing to follow God's ways, people are encouraged to just follow their own way. Think of it, David could have said, "I am who I am now. I'm going to embrace this part of me and feed it." But instead he comes to God and says, "I want a willing spirit. Sustain me in your ways in the joy of salvation, rather than the pleasures, the fleeting pleasures of sin." And this is deep stuff, friends. The enemy will always be tempting us. And many of us follow our temptations so long that they begin to feel normal and natural. And so we stop being willing to turn from sin and honor God. And instead we expect God to be willing to change to affirm us. But notice David doesn't ask for a change of desire. He asks for a willing spirit. He seems to believe that a willing spirit can overcome any temptation that comes his way. I believe God can sustain us through all sorts of temptations to live a holy and God-honoring life, but we need to be willing to let go of our old ways, our godless ways, no matter how hard the world tells us not to. Friends, David certainly was willing to change his ways, to quit acting on his sinful desires, and to live his life for God again. My prayer is that you and I will always have a willing spirit to live God's way and believe deeply in His sustaining grace to help us live for Him each and every day. God bless you, my friends, and I pray that the words of Psalm 51 have touched you this week. Thank you for supporting my ministry. Every donation keeps me going with these devotions. Thank you, friends. Go well, and God bless you all.
Have mercy on me.